Hey y'all, my name is Tamron and thank you for tuning in for another edition of Self-Love. I'm so excited to have you guys here. Today we are talking about the definition of love and how that plays out in our lives. So while I'm giving y'all the nitty-gritty details, I'm going to be setting my face and we'll be back to talk about how it affects our lives, okay? Let's start. Okay, so I'm going to be reading y'all two different definitions. So first things first, we're gonna check with our girl Merriam-Webster and see what she has to say. So the definition of love is, well, there's obviously multiple, but we'll read the first. It has three different parts: a strong affection for another arising out of kinship or personal relationships, and they kind of use maternal love as an example. They use another one, which is an attraction based on sexual desire, affection, and tenderness. Love felt by others, baby. And then an example for that they have: after all these years, we are still very much in love. I love that tenderness, baby. That's my portion. I received that. And lastly, they say the affection based on admiration, benevolence, or common interest. And the example they use for that is love for his old schoolmates. So those are all good and dandy, but I did want to talk to y'all also about the biblical definition of love. And you can find me in 1 Corinthians chapter 13. So it says, love is patient, love is kind, it does not boast, it does not envy, it is not proud, it does not dishonor others, it is not self-seeking, it is not easily angered, and it keeps no record of wrong. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. Today is a little bit of a juicy conversation because love can be reciprocated, it cannot be reciprocated, it can be given and it can be taken. There's many different ways it takes forms in our lives, and it shows up in different relationships that we have. So with that being said, we're gonna jump into mine. I'm really gonna spend most of the day talking about my relationship. If you may not know, I am in a 4-year relationship. Well, 3.5 by some definitions, 4 by mine. And I just wanna talk about how that's taken form and honestly how it's changed me. So we're gonna get into all that. First, I'm gonna do like a bright color pattern today. We're doing a red buffed out eye with a green in a corner. It's gonna match my shirt. You guys can't see it right now, but for the Instagram pics, that's important. So I'm gonna zoom y'all in so that you can have a better look over the eye, because I'm sure that's why we're here, right? So hold on. Okay, so I obviously did my brows off camera and we're gonna jump into the look right now. For context and reference, I'm going in with my crease shade right, or dang, what are the eyeshadow layers? I'm going on with my lightest color. How about that? My softest color. So for context and reference, I am 22 years old. I met my boyfriend when I was 18. It has been a roller coaster, to say the freaking least. And I feel like that's all relationships, especially, you know, at a young age. Like, you're still trying to figure out yourself. So word to the wise, if you're young right now and you're looking for like a really serious situation, girl, you want to experience more than life. And don't get me wrong, like, everybody has their own callings and walks and stuff, because I wanted to be in, but just don't get it twisted, sis. Like, you want to grow up a little bit and have more, I'm not even talking about sexual experience, like, you want to have more dates, you want to have more conversations, you want to have more that works, this doesn't work underneath your belt before you get into a long-term relationship. So let's start there. But anyway, 18 years old, getting into a relationship. Well, 2 months into knowing him. Look at me. 2 months into knowing him. And mind you, this was my first long-term relationship. 2 months into knowing him, my freaking mom passes. And so talk about a strain on a relationship. Like, we barely knew each other. So long story short, like, it worked out for a while, and you know, he was respectful of the situation I was going through, and he honestly always was, but he just wasn't as understanding as I needed him to be. So around the summertime, we ended up taking a break. But saying all that to say, that's just background on the fact that you can be in a relationship and you can have to take a break in the middle. I wouldn't say you should make it a practice and something that you lean on all the time, but it can happen. So what I really want to spend most of the time talking about is how love is meant to make you grow. And honestly, I believe that that's in any form of the relationship, or any form of relationship you're in, that so that can be in a relationship with your mother, that can be in a relationship with your dad, your brother, sister, your dog, you know what I mean, your next door neighbor, whoever that is for you. Relationships are meant to grow, not to keep you stagnant. And I think a way that you can tell if a relationship is unhealthy is if, one, you're giving out more than you're receiving, but also if you're still the same person you were before you met the person. And I'm talking about over a period of time. Of course, I'm not talking a week or maybe even 2 weeks, but by the 6-month mark, you should be able to benchmark, okay, have they checked me on things? Have they made me have a different perspective on things? Have they made me grow in different ways? Okay, next, I'm gonna move into more of a red shade. So a way I was able to benchmark that was, when I first found my boyfriend, I was settling. Oh my God, I was just allowing people, not only just like romantic relationships, but friendships as well, and just other people I was around in environments, to treat me any type of way. Like, I was just accepting any type of behavior to feel accepted, to feel loved, to feel wanted. And I'm not just talking about romantic ways, I'm talking about friendships too. Again, like, I was really genuinely doing that. And he really, like, he was an environment that told me I deserve better than that. Anyway, reinforced my self-worth. Another area that my boyfriend like challenged my image of myself in before was the way I talk to people. I had a potty mouth when I met him, believe it or not. If you know me in real life, believe it or not, I had a potty mouth like when I met him. But also, I wasn't patient. Like, I didn't realize that other people needed love in the same way that I did. I have been hurt by other people in the past, self-perspectives, whatever. And I didn't realize that men needed love the same way I needed love. And I abused him in my language, and it was terrible. So if you've been hurt, just because that man, woman didn't treat you well, that father, daughter, son, whoever it was, didn't treat you well, does not mean that in other future relationships and encounters you have, and even with that same person, that you don't still take an account for how you can affect them with what you say. Because, you know, in the past I was dealing with cold-hearted people and I couldn't tell if I was affecting them or not. But when I was around somebody that genuinely opened their heart to me, I was affecting that person a lot. So that's another way that he stretched me, was in control of my tongue. Let me finish this and then we'll keep going. Long story short, there's so many other like things I'm going to talk about and go into, but I think the main thing I really wanted to make clear in talking about love and relationships is that all those things in the definition I gave earlier, you know, there's different forms of it, so I wanted to be clear in that. Like, yes, you know, clearly the love that you have for a coworker and that friendship is not the same love that you have for a child, or the same love you have for your child is not the same love you have for, you know, a long-term relationship or a marriage, or even a short-term relationship. You know, no segregation in love here. But one thing I did just want to be clear is that to bring into your mind like all those different things of the definition, especially the biblical definition, like love is not envy, love is not boastful, love is not prideful, love is kind, love is gentle, all of those things. Do you feel like that's present in your relationships and the people that you love? And if it's not, like, are you contributing it to it not being there, or is it other people? And then that can cause you for, in the common term that we have in today's day and age, is that toxic? Are you in a toxic relationship? So something to think about there. But I also really wanted to bring it to the forefront of your mind that love is meant to transform you. You know, it's who you get into communication and love with is not, you're not supposed to be the same person that you came into it as you go throughout the process. They're meant to grow you, they're meant to call you out, you know. And on the receiving end of that, are you a person that has a hard time being called out? Is your love prideful? And that's the area that we all, and to be honest, I feel like because everybody brings out different attributes in people, in one relationship you may struggle, in another relationship you may not. You know what I mean? But don't take it as in every relationship you're perfect. No ma'am. No ma'am. Even if your relationship is doing well for the most part, as it should be, there's still areas for you to grow in. There's still areas for you to better support somebody in, etc. So just bringing that to your mind, see. It didn't come out the way I was expecting. So as we talk about the last segment of today's love video, we're also going to, in the spirit of changing, right? It's the last part. We're also going to change this inner quarter shade. So my vision was to do kind of like the green that's in my shirt. I didn't have the green. I caught myself trying to make the green and it didn't go well. So I'm gonna just change it to pink and maybe have a green reflect underneath, but that's what we're gonna do. Okay, that's good enough for me, you know? It's good enough for me. I hope it's good enough for y'all, because it is for me. Okay, I'm gonna put on lashes and finish the rest of my look off with powder and face stuff, and then we'll be back to, oh, we were talking about change. So in the spirit of change, how can you, so after you analyze where your relationships are at, because I need to take it back to myself, like I have just different things I can work on. So after you analyze your relationships, how do you think you can change that? For me, and I want you to leave this as a conversation down below because I don't know it all, so this is just what I'm thinking preliminary, is I've got to do some self-work, because what I show up is a reflection in my relationships is a reflection of what I am to myself. So I have to change. I have to do some internal work and examinations on myself. So I'm going to go ahead, finish my makeup look off camera with lashes, face makeup, and then we'll be back at the very end to wrap it all up. But I love you guys. Okay, so this is the final look. Kind of dramatic. Thank you guys so much for sticking around for this point in the video. I love you guys, as I've expressed beforehand, and this video is obviously about love, so I hope that you're able to take away a couple of nuggets about just some self-reflection. Honestly, that's what Safe Space is about. It's about bringing up topics, me giving my experience, me challenging your train of thought, and looking at places in your own life, and then also just thinking about, okay, it's been brought to my attention, let's go ahead and make it better. So with that being said, make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe. I'm so blessed to have you guys, and I'll see you guys next time.